taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream, Friday, September 26th. S&P's up 15, NASDAQ up 35, Russell is unchanged, Dow up 186. Little surge higher after core PCE, and now it's coming back down to the previous pre-market highs. Gold is up 0.5%, silver's up 1.24. Notes, bonds, yields pretty flat. Oil's up 0.5%, natural gas down 1. All the grains are a little bit red. Euro and the pound are both up about 0.25%. Bitcoin's down tiny, just under 110,000. VIX was a little bit elevated. It was up about 0.5% until the core PCE came out. Now it's down about 1.5%. So a little contraction after the data, which is pretty normal. Currently at 16.50. Looks like we've got an expected move today in SPX of around 28.5. So no 1 DTE today with the VIX contraction. I may consider a discretionary one, just because I like that Friday decay using the Monday options. But we'll see. I'll put it on a little bit later this morning if I do. And then at the open, I'll be doing a 6-7 put calendar. Opening bell in about 1 minute. A Bosch. Today's a new day. What happened earlier in this week doesn't matter, right? Sometimes you got to reset. S&P back to yesterday's high. Giving up the goods after the little core PCE push. NASDAQ's already back down to where it pushed right when the data came out. Oh, you know what? I don't have my tat open. Rat-a-tat-tat. There's the bell. Give me just a minute here. Yeah, SPX expected move about 28.5. Initial move is down. NASDAQ acting the weakest. My 6-7 should be firing here in about 30 seconds. Biggest movers on my board. Boeing is up 3.5%. Bull is up 2%. Tesla's up 1.5%. On the red side, Costco, which I did an earnings play on, that's down 3.6%. My 6-7's trying to get filled. Klarna's down 3%. Baidu down 2%. Baba down 2%. Looks like I'm on the 66.20 strike, filled at 455 and 460. Articulate, yes, that is in TOS. Do you use TOS? Or really, most brokers will have it.
Autofilled.
Like if you go to SPX on the trade tab, go to the option chain that is today, which is obviously 0 DTE, and it's this number that is the plus or minus number on the right-hand side. Quick bounce in the indices. Quick little dip and bounce. Here's the old Costco trades looking solid. 910 is our sweet spot. It's there. It's actually a little bit below it. I only did one lot. I'm up over 100% on it, so I'm just gonna let it sit. Hopefully, it doesn't go crazy. As far as Mag 7 stocks go, Google is bouncing. Tesla is bouncing. Tesla's up 2%. Google's up 1%. Netflix red, Apple red, Meta a little bit green. Microsoft getting back above yesterday's high. Nvidia slightly green. Banks are pushing up. And chips are kind of mixed. Just a mixed bag of chips. So what's interesting is look at SPY. SPY opened and it kind of dipped initially and then bounced. If you look at SPX, it had no dip, just straight up from the open. We are into our second 5-minute bar, so we'll see if we have any volume coming in. S&P try to get up to the PCE data high. Didn't quite get there. Getting rejected. Bitcoin just right around unchanged, right near yesterday's close for the Bitcoin ETF. All right, about 2.5 minutes into this bar. Don't see AMD's getting some good volume. AMD's got a shot. Microsoft and Tesla are a little over halfway there. They could, if they start pumping some volume, they could possibly make it. Tesla kind of pulling back. Microsoft still staying strong. I don't think it's going to get there, but AMD looks like it will. AMD ticking through pre-market highs. Yeah, Tesla pulling back to pre-market highs. AMD ticked above pre-market highs, but a little bit of a pullback. So for AMD, I'm going to look at the 7DTE options, the 165 calls. Kind of bounced on me there. All right, coming back down. I'm going to put it in an order at 250. There we go. Fill the 250. Upside volume runner. Let's see what you got, AMD. So far, not much. Now it's down to the low of that volume candle. Now it's pushing below, so I'm going to get ready to cut this thing if it doesn't bounce. S&P's holding. SMH is falling. NASDAQ falling. All right, I'm going to get out. I don't like it. Filled at 225. Microsoft didn't get a volume bar, but it's staying strong. Microsoft ticking through highs of day.
Order filled.
S&P, nice push through highs of day. Through pre-market highs.
Order filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Russell ticked through pre-market highs. NASDAQ acting weaker. It has not gotten up there. Tesla, big rejection. NVIDIA rejection, back in the red. Amazon rejecting yesterday's highs. SMH getting a big volume bar to the downside. Now we got some things coming down. The chips are acting weak. Microsoft and Apple still holding up well, but everything else is kind of coming down. Banks are still holding up. Banks and a couple of little tech, not little, but a couple tech stocks are holding up. Everything else getting a little weak. Yeah, coin had a little increased volume pushed through yesterday's low. PLTR coming down hard. AMD really coming down hard. ARM has a good mighty 90, but I would want to see it flush through yesterday's low for me to take it. SMCI had a little volume spike as well, but didn't quite get down through pre-market lows. I like to see it flush a level. S&P's little dip getting bought right back up. NASDAQ is kind of choppy. Russell's little dip getting bought back up. Microsoft still acting strong, back through highs of day. Amazon also now acting strong, except to previous day high. Little whippy action there. Little flush and bounce. Now the chip's starting to bounce. And SPX is about 3 points away from its expected move to the upside for the day. And it ticked it. I have it marked at about 43 and a half. Yeah, almost 44. It basically ticked it. S&P still pumping. PLTR still acting weak. Bitcoin back in the green.
Order cancelled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Russell now acting the strongest, followed by S&P. NASDAQ still has not gotten back up to the data release high, the pre-market high. Now we're getting a little pullback. Little bounce in chips coming back down. Yeah, chips are not looking that great here. I mean, SMH is slightly green on the day, but financials are strong, energy strong, utility strong, regional banks strong, healthcare strong. Really all the sectors are green. Yeah, I've been watching Microsoft. Yeah, Meta week now down to pre-market lows. S&P pulling back to pre-market highs. I'm going to take an upside runner and SPY. I'm going to use some 0 DTE options, the 662 calls. 662 calls in SPY. Filled at 104. Little pullback to pre-market highs. Using pre-market highs as my line. I'm doing 0 DTE for SPY. Put an order in at $1.25 as my first profit target. Meta's little dip getting about up. Apple staying strong. Amazon consolidating just under previous day high. Russell is acting the strongest. Banks are still acting strong. Hood is down in the red now. Need a quick pop back up to highs a day for SPY. PLTR coming down towards pre-market lows, still staying weak. The chips are just kind of choppy, kind of whippy. Goldman Sachs is up almost 2%. Bank of America is up over 1.3. JP Morgan, the weakest of the three big banks, but it's still holding above yesterday's high. Costco is still doing good. It's up what is that, 160, 170%? Just going to let that thing marinate for a little bit. See how much we can squeeze out. It's all about position size, Dark Avenger. Risk is relative. Russell pushing through highs. Bitcoin through pre-market highs. No follow through in SPY yet, just kind of holding. Microsoft dipped a little bit more closer to pre-market highs and then started to bounce. That's kind of why I got in SPY, because I was able to get in a lot closer to that level, but Microsoft got down there. So that could be a good one as well. No, Krish, there's no working today. You're a trader. Before you go, do you have any good trades for us today? Oh, client, the old client excuse. Whatever. That's true. You got to eat. All right. We'll see you in Power Hour, Krish. Yeah, that's a good question, Dark Avenger. Apple, all green. No pullbacks yet since the open. Early next year. That's it. That's it, huh? You're making the jump. I like it. Nice. Good, good. All right, S&P popping. Come on, hit it. Hit me. My order's at 125. There it is, filled at 125. Oh boy, here we go. Coming up on yesterday's pre-market high. I still had that marked in SPY. SPX above its daily expected move. Well, my 6-7 put calendar says I'm up 40%. I don't believe that's true. Huh. Surely that's not true. Anybody else in the 6-7? Where are you guys at? Oh, no, there, it just reverted back. I'm actually up 0.5%. Little different. Little difference. Oh, here we go. Krish gave us something to fade. ES above 67.05 will squeeze up. It will react there a bit. 67.05. So ES is currently at 6,700. So basically, if we get above 67.05, I'm shorting with serious size. Okay, I'm going to mark that on my chart. 67.05. I'm going to put in an alert, actually. This is big. This is big news. Krish coming in with some confidence. All right, so S&P, little pullback. Russell, pretty healthy little pullback. Bitcoin ticked above pre-market highs. It's pulling back. Chips still a little choppy. Banks, little pause. Meta, what's Meta doing? A little bounce. Now it's coming back down. Microsoft still hanging out at pre-market highs. No continuation there. SPY back to pre-market highs. Gotta watch my remaining options. These 0 DTEs move quick. If it doesn't bounce here, I'll cut. So if you haven't traded 0 DTE, here's kind of just something to consider. Like, I was up 450 right after I hit my profit target, and because of the decay and now the reversal, now I'm only up $80. So just understand, these puppies move. Big rejection in Bitcoin and Russell and NASDAQ. NASDAQ never got up to pre-market highs, and it's coming back down. I got filled on the 6620s. Oh, you're in a DC. I'm not in a double calendar, so I wouldn't be any help there. All right. SPY's got to bounce here, otherwise I'm going to cut the rest of my trade. All right, I'm cutting. Let me out. Let me out. Filled at 77 cents. It's a small winner in SPY. How do I determine whether to sell or buy a 0 DTE IC? I was trading 0 DTE SPY calls right there. I don't know if... Are you talking about iron condors? So, I mean, my BIC trades are all 0 DTE. Those are just kind of scheduled. Like a price action iron condor, I just wait. I just haven't been doing a lot of it just because it's been a really tough market to sell 0 DTE premium in it. But
Order filled.
I booked a winner yesterday. It's just, I would really just take Chad's TLC class. That's kind of like the best resource as far as if you're entering discretionary ones. Or there's obviously the back-tested versions as well. So it's kind of a broad question, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can just look for consolidation periods or use a back-tested version. Depends on what you're looking for. All right, we're seeing some weakness coming in. Let me refocus here.
Order filled.
Apple finally getting a pullback. Tesla going red. Nvidia coming down hard.
Order
Like an
partially
all
filled.
asset sale coming in
Order
right now.
filled.
My BIC puts are getting stopped.
Order filled.
$65.40s. I gotta sell some of my BIC puts here.
Order filled.
Was that consumer sentiment that sent us down? Yeah, it was right at that time, wasn't it? I mean, I knew that was scheduled, but I just didn't even think of it as a concern. Meta just flushed yesterday's lows. Microsoft did not hold pre-market highs. Donna, yeah, I did 20 lots. I sold 12 at 125, and then I sold the rest on when I cut it. The remaining 8. So especially with 0 DTE or lower, even 1 DTE, I think, but mostly 0 DTE. Like, I always get out of more than half at my first profit target. They move so quick and can kind of take away your profits quickly if it reverses, like you just saw. So I'm a little quicker to take profits. You know what caused the flush is Krish said that we were going to squeeze above 67.05. I think that's what it was. All right, let's see if we got any Mighty 90 action coming in. SMCI had a nice little Mighty 90. Kind of pushed through pre-market lows. I'm going to see if this market's got any more downside before I try anything. Meta's nice flush through yesterday's low. No volume though.
Order filled. Order filled.
Apple back down to mid-range. Yeah, not a lot of volume spikes coming in with this little baby flush, little consumer sentiment fit. Russell just pulled back to pre-market highs. S&P's near lows of day. NASDAQ pushing through lows of day. SPX rejected expected move high. Actually pushed about 6 points above it. I don't do a whole lot of reverse iron condors matrix. You can check my trade plan sheet. Go back. There's tabs at the bottom. Go back a couple months where I had reverse iron condors in my trade plan, and then take a look at the back test. Those were all back test driven. So at a high level, if VIX overnight expands, so if the VIX opens up green, then that means the premiums are more expensive, right? Volatility expands, makes options more expensive. And so that's, if you look at almost any back test, you'll see that is favorable to selling premium, right? We want to sell when the options are juiced. As opposed to the reverse iron condor, those were put on when VIX was down overnight. So premium had already contracted, the options were cheaper, so we were buying, right? It's the whole buy low, sell high, buy low. So, it's just a matter of, going through those back tests, and that'll help you understand. So we would always do a RIC on mornings when VIX had already contracted. We'd sell premium on days when premiums were juiced, is kind of the basis.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Yeah, I may open a 1 DTE as well. I'm going to just continue to see.
Order partially filled.
Wait for a little pause here.
Order filled.
See if this thing's going to keep going down. Tech and chips were just kind of weak from the start. Banks are now pulling back too, so they're kind of getting on board with the down train. Be back in 1 minute. So matrix, to continue, a couple other points on that. If you're selling an option, if you're selling an iron condor, obviously the biggest thing is, you want premium to decay But the biggest thing is, price needs to stay in that range. So it's always a balance of, okay, yeah, the implied volatility is high, the premiums are juiced, but that also means there's more risk, right? That means there's more uncertainty. That's why the options are more expensive. So it's just a balance of trying to find situations where price is going to stay steady for long enough for you to book profits, but have enough premium to sell. You know what I mean? So I know I'm kind of giving you a bunch of different answers. I'm not sure if I'm really answering your question the way you wanted me to, but that's kind of the thought process that you want to have around selling premium. Yeah, delta neutral has been a challenge recently, no doubt. No doubt about it. Then you got the, random announcements out of the administration, and that it's not priced in, and so you got all that fun stuff to worry about too. Well, VIX just measures the at-the-money options of SPX 30 days out. Okay, so that's just a measure of the price of the options of SPX 30 days out. But it's a pretty good just indication of volatility. I mean, it's the best thing we got. It's not perfect, but it's the best thing we got. The expected move. The expected move, or the one standard deviation move, is kind of back of the envelope. It's basically the price of an at-the-money straddle. So, you can look at that. You can look at it that way too. S&P kind of pausing near lows. What are you asking about, Moel? Which part? The at-the-money straddle? I was saying that the VIX is just an index that measures the price of the at-the-money SPX options with 30 days to expire. And so that's just a VIX is just an indication of volatility. And it's, even for zero DTE, even though it's measuring 30-day options, it's still a pretty decent measurement of volatility on zero DTE options. It's not perfect, but it's kind of the best we have. And then I started to say you could look at the zero DTE at the money straddle price, or the, current one standard deviation or expected move as another way to kind of measure volatility in the actual expiration that you're trading. But for me, it's just as easy to look at VIX, and it's pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. Well, options always increase when there's uncertainty. And so if the market's going down, that creates uncertainty. Therefore, the price of the options increase. Therefore, the VIX goes up. Well, but it's always measuring the at-the-money options. So it's not like it's riding those calls like as if you bought a call. And if the market goes up, the calls go up. You know, it's an index that just tracks the at-the-money options, the price of the at-the-money options. And I've dug into the exact calculation of VIX, which I don't remember, nor do I really care to remember exactly. But just think of it as it's always calculating the at-the-money options. So even if things are moving, it's just taking the price of the at-the-money options. All right, S&P still coming low. NASDAQ almost down to pre-market lows. I would just say Matrix. It's well, I mean, my BICs are working. Right? Until I had a big down day yesterday, but before yesterday, my BIC account was at all-time highs. So it's you got to be careful saying it's not working. It's more difficult because of a lot of things. Premiums are when VIX is low, and so premiums are low, so your range is way tighter. Then all of a sudden a Trump tweet comes out and moves the market more than the expected range. That has something to do with it. We experienced during the first Trump administration, we experienced kind of similar things where, it was a little bit more challenging. And so it was kind of expected that, that was going to create some challenges that weren't there for the previous 4 years. So that's something, but it really, a lot of it has to do with, just kind of the relative or the actual moves versus the implied moves. And when the options are cheap, when volatility is low, it doesn't take much to kind of stop you out. And then it comes down to what do you mean by delta neutral, right? Are you using stops? Because anything with stops has just been getting whipped out, right? That's what hasn't been working. You look at different like multi-tranching iron condors, and without using stops, you're taking on a significantly more risk, but that's been working fine for a lot of folks. So be careful saying something's just not working, because it really depends on what you're actually doing. NASDAQ through pre-market lows. Meta still at lows. Yeah, this thing's still coming down. Not any like fleshy, spiky volume either. Just kind of pretty methodical. It's a little flesh, but still no volume. Coin through lows. Bitcoin's coming down hard. NASDAQ getting bloody. I'll say that. It's only down 0.4% from yesterday. S&P's just unchanged. Russell is still green. Dow is still green.
Order filled.
Keep that into context. NVIDIA really coming down.
Order partially filled.
S&P right at
Order filled.
unchanged. NASDAQ bouncing back just below pre-market lows. Oh yeah, gold and silver back to pumping. Gold not quite back up to all-time highs. Silver blasting through its all-time highs, almost up to $46 an ounce. S&P bounced off of unchanged. SMCI had another volume spike. Still didn't get quite down to yesterday's lows yet. ARM flushed yesterday's lows and bounced. The sell-off is just a little too methodical. Watson, where were you yesterday? Did you not participate in trading yesterday? On the road. Okay, I figured something. Some pretty good price action. Waited 3 weeks and then on the road, huh? Trade and drive. You trade and drive from your phone. It's highly encouraged. All right, seeing a little bit of dip buying. So I guess NVIDIA actually would have been a good mighty 90. It had a nice volume spike as it flushed through pre-market lows. already kind of bounced. But S&P's little bounce and NASDAQ's little bounce is kind of getting pushed back down. Bitcoin's still coming down. I'm not interested in catching any falling knives yet. Oh, perfect. Yeah, Bosch, exactly. Get a Tesla. Come on, Watson. FSD mode. Premiums are getting juiced up a little bit more, so I'm going to do it 1 DTE, but I mean, we haven't had a bounce in 40 minutes. 30 minutes. I'm exercising patience, Abosh. Quit trying to rush me into something I don't want to do. Costco's still down 2.5%. I want 200% in Costco. So that would put us at 900. Yeah, if we get a little bit of a down move in Costco, I'll close that one. It's up about 800 on a 481 buying power. If we get about a 7-point down move in Costco, that'll be right at the peak. PLTR still bleeding. AVGO coming down hard. The chips didn't like the consumer sentiment, huh? Is that what we're trying to say? The old consumer sentiment's down, chips down hard. Let's see what's going on in financial juice. Anything? Intel. Yeah, it's just been chopping. Definitely not flushing with the rest of them. Well, Intel's got that sweet government put behind it now. I don't think it can fail. GME's up 5%. GameStop likes the consumer sentiment with volume. Wow. Boeing, which is one of only two shorts that I have on my swing trades, is up 4%, which I don't like. Halliburton's up another 3%. Are we going to war? Thing has been on fire the last few days. Celsius, my favorite energy drink, is up 3%. App Lovin', just below all-time highs. think it's too sweet. So you got to go with the green tea version. It's the non-carbonated. I think they call it fizz free. I don't like the carbonated, but the fizz free version. That's what I go with. OKLO is down another 5%. Open Door down 5%. CoreWeave down 3%. All right, S&P, NASDAQ getting a big bounce. All right, I'm going to go in with 1DTE now. Just wanted to see things slow down to the downside. So I just posted it. I'm on the 65 puts, 50 calls, so 85 wide. Yeah, getting a lot of bounces across the board now. Big bounce in NVIDIA. Costco's bouncing. Need Costco to go back down. All right, my friends, let's give it a few more minutes here before I wrap the stream. See if there's anything else. Don't think there's anything else. I'm going to jump in here. Big bounce in PLTR, which was going down all morning. A lot of big bounces in the chips. Yeah, nothing else I see I want to do right now. If I do see anything interesting, I'll post in the chat. Otherwise, everybody have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in Power Hour. Cheers.